To
Welcome to
infinite. Sorry.
It's okay, it's okay. Welcome to Fiery Discourse, your podcast or media featuring dragonesses, female dinosaurs, and other similar saurians and scalies. I'm your host, Ludmillanon, and with me are my co-hosts, Angron, Lucky Eevee, Mathmachine, the Shark, Jordan, Strkyer, and our special guest today is Python. Today is our 82nd episode, and we're discussing the 2000 Buzz Lightyear Star Command episode, Root of Evil. So, let's get things started.
To infinity and beyond.
Buzz Lightyear, the world's greatest hero, is now the world's greatest
Greatest
toy.
hero. Oh god, I could have absolutely done the freaking. Alpaca
Lightyear
hawk
commercial.
YouTube poop thing.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Oh man.
But
Yeah, reading the title of this episode, I could only think of one thing. Well, evil! Evil!
well, both Mermaid Man and Buzz are superheroes.
Oh man.
Yeah, it fits. But as pretty much everybody knows by now, Toy Story was an unexpected, massive hit for Disney, and it put Pixar on the map. And even more surprising was Toy Story 2 being an equally big hit. And both these movies being such smash successes, it caused Disney to greenlight a Buzz Lightyear cartoon. Now, in a really fun touch, they actually made the cartoon an in-universe show for the Buzz Lightyear tour line. Like this would be the TV show that the toys would be based on, you know.
Now, if only they made a Woody's Roundup show too.
They were planning on doing that, believe it or not. The initial plan of this show, they were going to have various segments: a Buzz Lightyear segment, a Combat Carl PSA, and apparently a Woody's Roundup short as well, which would have been very interesting. But what we got was really, really good.
Oh, heck yeah, absolutely. And also, that basically reminds me, the world's greatest superhero is now the world's greatest superhero. There we go, fit it in.
Classic. But basically, the show itself began with a direct-to-video movie that actually managed to get Tim Allen to reprise his role as Buzz. But when it went to series, we got probably one of the best replacements of all time. We got Patrick Warburton as Buzz Lightyear, and he does such a fantastic job.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like, not imagine, like, going with Buzz Lightyear going to Peter's house and Peter answering, Buzz Lightyear! Hello, Peter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when I... Go ahead, Strkyer.
I remember growing up, I actually had this on VHS.
Nice. That is awesome.
The movie was great.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So,
my family owned the DVD, and I saw it when I was very, very young. So definitely a nostalgic bonus for me. Also, as for the show itself, I mean, on the one hand, I absolutely love Warburton in many of his other things. Joe and Family Guy, The Principal and Kim Possible.
Kronk.
What?
Kronk, he said.
Oh yeah, Kronk too. Yes, can't forget about that.
Him.
However, I don't know. Having him as Buzz Lightyear feels weird, and yet it honestly kind of works. I mean, honestly, the more I hear his voice nowadays, though, honestly, he kind of reminds me of Markiplier. if you really think about it. Oh man.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. But what also is fun about the show in general is I really do like how the intro of the show actually takes place in the Toy Story universe, because it's Buzz basically flying around the room trying to get to the TV, playing an episode of Buzz Lightyear Star Command.
In some episodes, it almost does a bit of a Simpsons couch gag.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Shark, you were saying, sorry?
I was going to mention that sometimes the intro will change with Buzz hitting the TV or at the last second bouncing on something and flying all the way to the window or stuff like that.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
a really cool idea, you know?
Oh
So,
heck yeah!
Yep.
It also kind of reminds me of the opening to the Zeta project from DC. Like it starts with like a 3D animated opening, and then it goes to like a 2D animated opening with like cuts and stills and occasional animated segments and whatnot. It's kind of like that, except it's Disney.
Yeah, I definitely can see where you're coming from with it. But like I say, it really is a fun parody of basically sci-fi tropes in general, and you can tell that the show, basically the creators of the show, are having a lot of fun with it. And the theme song itself is really epic too, in a way. It
Oh,
suits
heck yeah.
Buzz Lightyear in a way that it feels like this would be Buzz Lightyear's theme song. But the episode itself we're talking about is called A Root of Evil, and it begins with a typical suburban family sitting down for dinner, but then suddenly the broccoli in the dish comes to life and begins attacking the family.
Well, all I could really think of with this moment is freaking. Meanwhile, on the Hallmark Channel in the '90s, yeah. I mean, this is the early 2000s, but come on, that was too good not to make that kind of reference. Oh my gosh.
Horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Math?
What I loved about this opening is that they actually portray it, and even the music they have to it is done like it's a horror movie.
Uh-huh.
Oh, definitely.
Mm.
Like I say, that
Right.
that is another good touch right there. But what happens is, after a fade to black, we see the members of Star Command there, with Mira trying to calm down the kids and Buzz asking the family what happened. And Mira's voice actress is actually Nicole Sullivan, who also played
Yep.
Shigo on Kim Possible. So,
Oh,
you get that
One of my
in
favorite
eyes.
actresses, actually.
I can see why.
Nice.
Why
Also,
it sounded familiar.
Well, with the intro, another thing I was thinking is, they better call the Powerpuff Girls because
Oh,
they also
yes,
deal
that
with
too. Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
killer broccoli.
Yeah, it is very much like that episode, yes. But what I also like about the show, what they do is Buzz being the straight man of it is really great because he has such hilarious lines with his interrogation of the family being like, has the recipe been in the family for very long? Did you use any sort of strange new spices with it? It really is such a funny thing, that how they played Buzz. They played him kind of like how they did in the first Toy Story, with him being like the comically serious type, and it works so well.
Yeah, they knew this was a Saturday morning cartoon, and they went all the way with that idea, with exaggerating Buzz Lightyear's one-liners and the way other characters act. Because, children are gonna watch this on Saturday. We can't be as crazy with this as we wish.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. This is made by the same person who made the freaking House of Mouse series and a bunch of other series as well. I think there's like one WB thing under his belt, but it absolutely shows how smart and how overall zany it is. This person knew exactly what they were doing, and they deserve all the love and appreciation, even if Disney won't give it to them. You bastards.
Exactly. So, Matt, you were saying, sorry?
Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, The Weekenders, House of Mouse, and to bring it back to a previous episode, Dave the Barbarian.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
right.
All of
Exactly.
which are not on Disney
Weekenders.
Plus. Coincidence? No, I think that this is actually something that Disney has against this guy.
That
Yeah.
definitely could be true. That definitely sounds like it could be true. But what happens is Booster then licks some of the residue off the wall, but XR tells him that he's detecting signs of life. And then we cut to Buzz giving him another one of his crazy conspiracy theories. This one about being a way to get kids to hate vegetables so that they will become weak and helpless. And Mira just looking at him with a completely confused look is so funny.
Yeah.
That plot sounds diabolically clever.
Yeah. All
Exactly.
I can think of is when I hear that is freaking Red Herring from a pup named Scooby Doo. Like
Oh my goodness.
he's the person who's just like who you think would be like, oh my god, it's you. It's like honestly, like Zurg to Buzz Lightyear would be what Red Herring would be to Fred, like hands down.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. But basically, what happens is that XR claims that it's full of mutagens, so obviously the Ninja Turtles are going
Yes,
to
the
show up
TMNT.
eventually.
Or the
But-
Shredder.
Yes.
Yep. But another war happens. As it turns out to be an evil eggplant from the CRISPR drawer, and sadly, it is not the evil eggplants from Courage the Cowardly Dog, although that too would be a great crossover.
Great
It would
eggplant.
be.
Yeah, Great eggplant says. Oh, sorry, Shark. Forgot about
Yeah,
you.
that. I think they could also have asked help from Mrs. Turner to get rid of the killer veggies. Everything I touch dies!
Oh, Dinkelberg, come over here and give my wife a celebratory hand touch. Classic.
It's kind of the joke's kind of dark because it's like he's wishing death upon him.
Exactly.
Oh,
But getting back to
God,
this show in general.
Okay.
What,
Also,
getting back to this show. Sorry.
It also kind of reminds me of that one. It also reminds me of two things. Oh gosh, I only one thing honestly now that I think. Okay,
Go ahead.
actually two things. I just remembered the second thing. First, Great Eggplant says bounce up and down. Firstly, secondly. Oh my gosh, this absolutely sounds like an expansion of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
that would be definitely an interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Definitely an interesting take on things. But getting back to this now, what happens is the team busts down the door and fight off screen, cutting back to the family's horrified reaction and a great joke. And we get another really funny one with XR rolling out, claiming everything is under control, and promptly just taking a chair to use it to beat the eggplant monster is hilarious.
Yeah.
Event-
That was perfect.
Eventually, the team just stumble out and shove the eggplant in a sack before rocketing it off back to Star Command. The housewife asks what they did to our kitchen, and Buzz asks her the exact same thing in an interrogative
No, it's
tone.
XR who asks that, not
Oh,
Buzz.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Buzz. But it turns out that the vegetables not only come from Booster's home planet, but also his family's farm. And then we cut to the planet Joad as the ship flies overhead.
Oh man, that on like I saw the bag and the planet, and I was thinking like, move over, three sons of Tatooine. We got the two sons of Joad.
Yeah, basically the planet is a spoof of both. It's basically a spoof of both Luke's homestead and Picard's vineyard.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh wow, that's actually really fun.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I really like it that they do that. And another fun touch is the name of the planet. Joad, Jode is actually the name of the family in the Grapes of Wrath, the farmers who have to flee the Dust Bowl and starve in California and that. So it was called.
Nice.
A nice little callback.
Yep.
Shark.
And I thought it was a play on the
Or
G.I.
reference,
Joe.
still.
It could
Song.
also be that. That's another good idea.
What? Wait.
Old McDonald.
what?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But like I say, XR proves that he's also one of the probably one of the better characters on the show because he has this comment of, "Oh, what a beautiful place to grow up," followed by him whispering, "If they get stranded, please sell me for scrap." It's just so funny.
Yep.
Like I say, him and Zurg have the best lines for sure.
Oh heck yeah.
Easily. But basically what happens is Booster runs into his old friend Buster, who's voiced by Tom Wilson of Back to the Future and SpongeBob fame.
Simple
Oh,
folk.
wow.
Yep. The two of them embrace as I love how the two of them embrace each other and are like, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you." And they just got some buzz. So you two know each other.
Yep.
Like they say, his comical
point.
seriousness is what really, really works for it.
Yes.
Buster asks Booster why they're here as Buzz and XR tell him about the vegetable problem. Buster seems to get nervous about this before Ma Munchapper runs towards her son as the two embrace each other. And she is the reason we are actually discussing this episode and this show as a whole. The reason because they don't look reptilian, but in another episode, we see that Booster's species are evolved from dinosaurs. So that means technically she is a female dinosaur and thus can count. Flimsy reasoning, but we've had flimsier, so it works.
Yeah, it's a little bit lopsided, but it absolutely works here. Like,
Balances out.
yeah, and the more you look at them, the more you see the Munchappers. The more you can kind of tell that the Munchappers more or less are reptilian in a way. Nothing too serious, but it's below surface level if you really take a look.
Yeah, I definitely can see that.
Shark.
Yeah, besides, the reason you talk about the Dino Hatans in a Mario movie was basically the same reason we're talking about them here.
Exactly.
A
Exactly.
Tyrannosaurus Rex, the world's greatest meat eater.
But this is better than that, at least. So we have that going for us.
Mhm.
Yep, exactly. So what happens next is that Booster's dad arrives and he tells him to say the Ranger oath, as Booster is embarrassed at doing because of the ending he added. And Booster's dad's voice, he sounded so familiar to me. It turns out he was the actor that was the head of By and Large in Wall-E.
Nice.
Oh,
Yep.
That's
Oh,
clever. That's clever.
Yep. Like I say, I really like when they do that kind of stuff. But basically, what happens next is XR shows them the mutant vegetables as the Munchappers say they don't know anything about it. Ma Munchapper embarrasses Booster by calling him her Boosty Bug, while Pa Munchapper shows them a makeshift Star Command uniform he made himself.
I love
offers-
these two.
Yeah, they are so much fun. Definitely there. And like I say, they could have just made them like very generic, characters, but no, they actually gave them traits, and that it works all the better for the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
They went too hard for characters that will just never be used again.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm.
Well, most likely, anyway.
Yep.
For as
So-
little screen time as these people get, they actually do a really good job of putting in personality and giving them just these unique characteristics that they did not have to, but we really appreciate that they did.
Oh,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Easily. That's part of the benefit of it. It really does work out for the better with it being like that. So what happens next is that he offers Buzz to wear his Space Ranger suit, but Buzz says that's not his size. Then he gives him an official Space Ranger identification badge. And then we get a really fun flashback moment here where Pa Munchapper says how much Booster and Buster wanted to play Space Ranger when they were kids. Basically, the pair run before jumping into a tunnel with Pa looking upset. And two things. Number one, we find out that Booster's middle name is Sinclair, so this is a spin-off of Dinosaurs as well as Toy Story.
Sinclair! In here now!
But number two is Pa Munchapper wins the Dad of the Year award because he says, "What have I told you about playing Space Ranger in the irrigation tunnels? Without me!" And then he just jumps in and starts running with them in his Space Ranger suit.
He has more. I will say this: he has more smarts than someone like Richard, but he absolutely is one not to be taken lightly, like with someone like Stan or even like Stoic. Also,
Exactly.
Ma Munchapper. Good lordy, she is an adorable kind of cringe I just cannot get enough of. We all have those moms or relatives that were ultimately like, "Oh, look at him,
Yeah,
pinch the cheeks," and
exactly.
all that stuff. And she, oh, good lord, I want to see more of her, and we absolutely will, but later.
Yep. But for now, what happens is Mirror and XR are confused about Booster's middle and last names. Booster makes fun of XR not having a last name, but he returns saying, "X is a great last name, short, sweet, and to the point."
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Buster says that he has to go to the grain silo. Then he runs behind some hay and pulls out a communicator device. Now it's here where we get to the highlight of the episode, because it turns out that Buster is working for Zurg, as he says he can handle the Space Rangers.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, we are introduced to probably the best character of the show.
Yeah.
Easily. Zurg is so much
Yeah.
fun. He's actually
Yeah.
voiced by, of all people, Wayne Knight, aka Newman from
Wow.
Seinfeld, Nedry from Jurassic Park, and more related to Toy Story, he was Al of Al's Toy Barn in Toy Story 2. And
Yes.
you would never know it's him because he does such a fantastic job as Zurg.
Yep.
He is so hilariously evil. You
He
cannot
just
help but laugh
hams
at
it up, and it's
Yeah,
amazing.
He absolutely revels in the villainy that he does. Also, the same voice actor who did Zurg also did freaking the Phantasm from Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. So
I did not
heck
know
yeah.
that either. That is awesome. But
Yeah.
basically,
I will say that I saw the plot twist of Buster being a traitor kind of coming. I don't know why, but something
Yeah.
in that scene kind of said, "Is this guy's going to be the villain of the episode?" And I was kind of right. So
yeah,
It's a
I don't know if
fun,
it was
kind of
just
predictable.
or pick it up of something subtle, but that happened.
It's a fun,
Exactly.
kind of predictable.
yeah. So, Math?
Yeah, they telegraph that pretty easily. Like if you know anything about subtle facial expressions in cartoons, the
Yeah.
thing is, this is effectively a parody, an over-exaggerated parody of your typical 50s space shows and sci-fi shows.
Indeed.
So it makes perfect sense that they would do something like that to overexpress things to keep it simple for the kids, but at the same time they just give you really good joke after really good joke to keep the humor flowing.
It's
Yeah,
also
absolutely.
it's also like a Saturday morning TV show, so of course it's going to be
Exactly.
a bit
Yep.
predictable.
One of the reasons,
Exactly,
Saturday
exactly.
morning cartoon on Disney
Exactly,
Afternoon.
exactly. But we then get another really funny part from Zurg because he says that it's going to be a harvest of doom, a slaughter salad with tombstone tomatoes, and then he just
Lordy.
starts laughing hysterically at it for no reason, you know.
Yeah. That's the whole Doom thing is something Sim will say.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, it's fun. Oh, not that Zim though. The one from Dragon Prince. The one from
Okay.
Invader Zim.
Invader.
Yeah.
Also, good lordy, this guy this guy takes evil and basically makes it a cartoonishly deviant, cartoonishly entertaining art form, like Doofenshmirtz or like freaking Draken from Kim Possible again.
Yeah.
It's something that you absolutely it's something that's both timeless yet a little dated, and yet we love it.
Yep.
There's something just
exactly.
beautiful about it.
Yes.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
exactly. But basically, what happens next is we cut back to Booster telling a scene about life on the farm. And one really underrated aspect about this show, I feel like doesn't get mentioned, is the world building. They really made it feel so alien. Like there is nothing here that is a one-to-one with our society because they have these like weird giant like six-eyed blue herd-like animals. And again, it really feels like they went all out with the whole sci-fi element of it by introducing as many fantastical stuff as possible. Anyway, Shark?
I was gonna say, well, it's alienating because it's an alien planet, but yeah, that was kinda the joke, I guess.
Yep. Also,
Yep.
Moosels.
That too.
Reference to the Wuzzles.
Ah, nice. But Buster is annoyed at Booster, saying that it's like the past when he still has to do things on the planet. Buzz attempts to cheer up Buster by saying that the farmers are the real heroes of the universe, which again,
True.
it feels like it's sincere, but it's also satirical. Like it has a tongue in its cheek. It's like saying to kids, "We know you're smart. We know that you know this stuff is silly."
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Also,
Math?
Math, yeah.
I'm glad they were on the farm planet because, good lord, that line was corny.
gosh.
Nice.
How dare you. Yeah.
Yep.
Also, very much realism to that, even though it's a little corny, because if you really think about it, the people who provide the food and everything truly are the real heroes in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
9 to 5 workers.
That too.
Absolutely.
Yep. But what happens is Zurg's grub henchman is hiding behind a barrel and causes the plow to nearly run over the group. Buzz jumps on the plow and tries to stop it, but is thrown off. Buster is nearly hit by the plow as Booster dives in and saves him, much to Buster's shock. Booster then jumps on the plow and tries to stop it, but he rips off the handle, which causes him to smash right into the grain silo. So,
Yeah.
I guess Old Man Jenkins is not going to be happy.
Yeah. Also,
nothing good to come of your city folk and your flying plows.
yeah. Also, pretty much showing how Booster is truly the muscle in spite of seeming like the heart of the group.
He's actually both in a way.
Yep.
Absolutely. What happens is Booster apologizes to his mother, who isn't too fazed about it, of all things, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Buzz notes that they heard from Star Command, and it turns out the the vegetables mutate when they're exposed to either extreme heat or extreme cold. Mirror and XR have basically scoured the planet and not find any mutagen anywhere. Booster brings up the irrigation tunnels as Buster basically tries to tell them not to go in there. And then we actually hear... It's like,
Going back just a second to the whole they broke down a silo, and Ma Munchapper's only reaction is worrying about Booster. That's actually like a really nice touch that I really appreciated, because it's very sweet and wholesome just how kind and caring these people are. They don't really have an angry bone in their body. They are just good, wholesome folk.
Yep.
exactly.
Gentle
And
giant.
you
Gentle
really see
giants.
that.
Yeah, gentle giants, and pretty much hell hath no grace like a mother's love, as it were.
Yep, basically. But what happens is basically they hear buzzing from inside the tunnel as Buster basically is trying to convince them that it's something called bunzel bees. Booster knows all about them and says that they swarm that time of year. And we get a cute little reference to Forrest Gump as Booster is basically saying about all the different ways to make bunzel. And the confused looks on the other Space Rangers' faces in another hilarious moment.
I absolutely loved Buzz's what the fuck face.
Exactly.
It's up there with Zim's I am not amused face, and just pretty much freaking Dr. Elephant's I've never seen such bullshit face. It's all pretty much hilarious.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
But XR tells him to stop, but then asks about a recipe for bunzel, another really funny moment. Buzz decides to throw a smoke grenade down the tunnel, but the bees don't seem to even notice it. Buster tries telling them not to go down there, but Booster says it'd be like when they were kids playing Space Ranger and he jumps down first. But it turns out the bees in the tunnel were just an audio recording, and what is really down there is Zurg's Hornet robots. Now, in a really nice touch of continuity that they didn't have to do, but it's cool they did, these robots are the exact same ones you see in the opening of Toy Story 2 in the Buzz Lightyear video game.
Wait,
That's
really?
Yeah. Sorry, Shark. Go ahead.
You know, that's a nice touch. Like, oh, we did this for the movie or the game, so might as well connect the universe by having these robots show up again in the actual cartoon.
It's a nice attention to detail.
Yeah, and it does make sense that there'd be toys of these things.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's also interesting that you that they freaking have them in the movie as well. So basically,
Yep.
Full circle continuity all around.
Exactly.
Make it surprising that not a single one of the Toy Story sequels ever broke like toys of Buzz Lightyear's team or any of the other villains.
We'll get to why later on, and it's not a happy reason, unfortunately, but there is a reason why that happened. But what happens is the Hornets begin blasting at the Space Rangers while XR is trying to shut the door like R2-D2 in A New Hope in a funny reference. But it doesn't work, causing Buzz and Mirror just to have to fire back at the Hornet robots. Booster closes the door just by punching the control panel in a really funny moment.
His skeleton key.
Yep, exactly.
Exactly, like
skeleton key.
X mentions like, oh, we need the skeleton king Booster, and you think he's gonna take up something, but nope, just punch.
Exactly.
Reminds me of when Nimona claimed she knew the passcode.
I kind of like that. You could make a connection to that. But basically what happens is that Buzz and the group walk off, only to instantly walk into Zurg pointing his gun at them. Buzz says that Zurg is outnumbered, but the Hornets blow down the door. Buster, meanwhile, to add to the betrayal, Buster picks up a ray gun and holds it at Booster. Booster's reaction of, no way, leads to Zurg saying as hammy as possible, way, yes way, very much way.
Yeah.
Again, Zurg is the funniest character on the show. He is so good in this. It is incredible what they did with Zurg.
Oh, absolutely. Also, the fact that from a character perspective in the show, it absolutely makes sense that Booster would feel this way. Like, it all just works in this moment. It's corny, it's been overdone, but damn it, it works here so much.
It's because it hurts. It hurts when your friend betrays you.
Absolutely.
And they made it work. They made it actually feel realistic.
Exactly.
Even to his character.
Heck yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely right there. But basically, the reason Buster betrayed Booster is because he was basically sick of being left on Joad while Booster had to leave to join Star Command. And we get another really great line from XR at this moment because Buster says, "I was stuck here as a farmer," and he goes, "An evil farmer." And when they're led away, Mira says, "And to think Booster saved your life." And XR says, "Your evil life."
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, the delivery is great, and once again, evil.
Well, honestly, if Mermaid Man had a space show spinoff, it probably would have been like this. It really would have.
Probably.
It has the exact same vibe as like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, to be honest. And
Yeah.
that you can tell that it's a loving tribute. It mocks it, but it does it out of a sincere love of the genre.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of Crypto the Superdog too, because like it's a little more serious in that one, but it absolutely does all the corny and wild stuff from a place of love and actual attention to detail, and I love that. Love it here too.
Exactly. But as we see Buster being conflicted about what he did, Zurg introduces them to his hydro transdipulator facility, which then leads to Mira wondering if transdipulator is a word, and Buzz remarks that Zurg made it up. Zurg says he didn't, as Buzz and Zurg literally start arguing like children in a great sentence, culminating in one of the funniest moments, I think, of this whole episode that made me laugh so hard. Buzz challenges Zurg to use in this sentence, and Zurg is there just stammering, and he says, "Oh, I went to the store to buy a new transdipulator." And then he says,
"Okay, I made it up."
But then the real punchline happens. I'm an evil emperor. I can make up new words.
Yeah. Good lordy, good lordy. Like the back and forth. Yeah, the back and forth just really shows the dynamic between Buzz and Zurg, and it absolutely is priceless. And again, it worked. It's like Doof and Perry, for Christ's sake. It's so freaking hilarious.
Actually, that has Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridged vibes with the whole.
True.
Yeah.
For the rules, I have money.
Yeah. So anyway, Matt, you were saying? Sorry.
What's the best part of that to me was the back and forth between Buzz and Zurg that effectively just went for like
did
girls, you're both cheesy. Let's move on.
Girls, yes, you're both fearable. Can I go now? Mega mind.
But Zurg then mentions that his vegetables are being pumped full of. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what I like about this rivalry between the two is because despite the fact that they are the hero and the villain, they really think alike. Like, they have the same ideas. Like, what Buzz Lightyear says at the beginning of the episode turns out that it's really Zurg's plan.
Yeah, it's like Joker and Batman, more or less.
Yeah. But what's also funny is Zurg says the exact same thing Buzz said in the beginning with the exact same words, and it's so funny.
Yeah.
And Buzz says, "Oh, fiendishly clever." It's so hilarious.
And Mira just gives a look like, "Are you serious? You called this at the beginning of the episode. Can't believe you did, but whatever, man."
Exactly. Yeah. But no, this is really, it just shows how hilariously well written this show is.
Yep.
But Mira then pretends to be stung by a bee, getting the other Space Rangers into it. She then says that it's going to attack Zurg, which, in another hilarious moment, Zurg panics and flails his arms in fear and nearly runs away. And this is, keep in mind, Zurg, for those of you who don't know who he is, he's basically like a Darth Vader copy. So imagine that guy running and screaming about a bee nearly stinging him.
Yeah. It also kind of reminds me of that one scene from Nanny McPhee where everyone's like, bees everywhere. Also, the power of suggestion. Good times. Math?
Exactly. But getting back to this, what happens is Buster notes that Buzz and the rest are getting away, but Zurg says for his Hornets to follow Buzz, but then he changes his mind and tells them to get the heat ray. The group get out as XR wonders why Zurg isn't following them, but it turns out he's busy underground using his heat ray, and he makes all kinds of puns as he does so, which, again, really, really hilarious. Like, they should have made a Zurg spinoff after this. I would have watched it. I think everyone would have watched
Actually,
it.
I would have paid for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, would have been better than Lightyear if we just got the Zurg movie.
Yeah.
Zurg movie all the way.
Yes.
Bring back
Lightyear
Wayne Knight for it.
and say, make him a mute robot.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like,
boy.
but we'll get to that in a little while. But what happens is Buster considers both Mira and Booster's words, and it turns out he's ashamed of what he did. He runs away from Zurg while he's busy firing the heat ray.
Also, that scene in particular made me think. That really made me think. Like after Mira said, "And to think Booster saved your life," and I just imagined like XR's line after that being like, "Your evil life."
They should have kept that in. That would have been funny. That actually is a legit good joke.
That's in character for XR.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But what happens next is the vegetables then turn to monsters as Buzz orders Mira to go at Booster and destroy Zurg's transdipulator. Buzz and XR fight off the vegetables before flying off, only for the vegetables to somehow gain flight and follow them.
They fly now. They fly now.
Well, this would have fit there.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
It reminds me of a joke in an episode of the Teenage Robot in which they go to an island and suddenly the seals, the lizards, and even like some monkeys start flying and they're like, what's going on here? It's evolution gone crazy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fly, my pretties.
Classic.
Basically.
Basically, yeah. But what happens is Buzz and XR's basically back underground. Mira and Booster don't know how they're going to destroy both the Zornets and the transdipulator, but Mira points out they're in an irrigation tunnel and that they can turn on the water. Buzz and XR's wings are destroyed by the vegetable as Booster is trying to turn on the pipe.
Yep.
Mira tries to help him, but she's zapped by a hornet that turns out has a Buster standing behind it. Booster asks if Buster is there to finish him off, but Buster decides to destroy the hornet instead, wanting instead to play Space Rangers, but this time for real. We then cut to Buzz and XR as the surface, as in such a badass moment from them, Ma and Pa Munchapper are also here to help.
Yeah.
They ride the plow and rescue both of them. And
Ma and Pa to the frickin' rescue.
Hell yeah.
They're planning on attacking the vegetables, but Buzz tells them there's too many. Oh, go ahead. Shark, you were saying?
I like how the whole playing Space Ranger from when they were kids kind of comes around. They finally get to live the fantasy they were playing as.
Full circle, baby. Also, Ma and Pa Munchapper. Also, Pa wearing the frickin' Space Ranger mock outfit cosplay. And while Ma's there like, hey guys, I'm here vibing too, and also here to help as well. It's good lordy, I love these two and her so much.
Exactly. Yep. So, Matt, you were saying?
Oh, but don't worry, folks. For as badass as this moment is, they keep them sweet and wholesome because as soon as they hear that Booster is helping out doing something, Pa's first reaction is, I'm going to go get my camera.
Exactly. I was just going to mention that. It is such a fun moment, you know?
Yes. Good lordy, I love these two, and I wish we saw more of them.
I know.
Oh man,
And we will, actually, but that's for later.
Yep, we
that's
certainly
right.
will. But what happens is Booster and Buster then turn on the pipe, causing water to flood the area and destroy the transdipulator. And it's here we get probably the moment that made me laugh, if not the hardest, definitely the second hardest. As Zurg is being basically pushed out because of the water, he screams, "No, not after it took me so long to come up with the name!" He's more concerned about that.
Yeah.
He's more concerned about the stupid name than he is his machine being destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's all wet and he's completely useless now.
Yep, he is. He is. But what happens is the transdipulator explodes as Ma Munchapper takes a picture of it. Booster and Buster diving out of the way while he does so.
Yeah, just a perfect freaking photo finish right there. Like something to hang on the wall, which they do, and it is honestly a story that is probably both going to be embarrassing for Buster, but also hilarious when they look back on it.
Exactly.
So it'll be a while.
Yep.
Yeah, I also like how sudden is the transition. Like there's this big explosion and action happening. They take the picture and it transitions to now on the picture on the wall, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is so good. It is such a good moment right there.
This show is so fucking charming.
Exactly. It really, really is. But Buster tells him it's time to leave. Booster says goodbye to his parents, then approaches Buster, who's busy destroying the vegetables in a bonfire. And the episode ends on a really sweet note with Booster and Buster basically affirming that they'll be friends no matter what. And
Another
again,
happy
it's a really,
ending.
really sweet show.
Yep, absolutely. Just another happy ending.
Yep.
Then later along the line happened.
Yep.
Not in the
Well,
show, but like for
no,
Buzz Lightyear as a whole.
I was just about to say about that. But what happened next is Buzz Lightyear Star Command ran for 65 episodes, which was the limit pretty much all Disney shows got to at that time before it was a cutoff. I think the first one to get more than 65 was Kim Possible, and that's because it was so insanely popular. But what happened is it's definitely considered a cult classic, and everybody loves it. I think that now it's actually even more appreciated than it was back then. Everybody likes it except for Pixar. Apparently, John Lasseter absolutely despised the show because he wanted Buzz Lightyear to be a serious sci-fi Flash Gordon type of show.
I mean, on the one
probably
hand,
been a bit better.
yeah, it probably would have. But on the one hand, I do somewhat agree that we could have absolutely gotten that kind of show, and it probably would have been popular as well alongside something like Gargoyles or whatnot. But on the other hand, we still did get that, but with its own cheesy yet timeless feel to it that honestly works better than Lasseter ultimately should have taken for. That
Exactly.
It's honestly something Lasseter honestly shouldn't have taken for granted because this show absolutely slaps. It's not 100% perfect, but it doesn't have to be. It's Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. It's basically what it basically embodies Toy Story more than what we eventually got.
Yep.
Shark.
That whole thing makes me think of how Miyamoto disliked the OVA yet liked the live-action movie.
Yeah.
That is true.
That is true.
That is very true. And for a very strange, same kind of reason too, which we did get to see what Pixar's version of Buzz Lightyear TV show would have been, which turns out to be the Lightyear movie from last year that, I'm sorry, if you like it, more power to you.
Yes.
I think it's garbage. I really did not like this movie. And I think what really got me...
Lightyear movie was okay, but they could have done better.
Buzz
Same.
Lightyear Star Command, I feel, is way more fun and just better made as a whole because it feels like a universe. Buzz Lightyear Star Command, this is. It feels like a universe that a kid would love. Like if I was a 10-year-old kid, I was less than 10, but you get what I mean. Kids would eat this show up, both in universe and out universe. In Lightyear, they have that title card at the beginning with, in 1995, Andy saw this movie and it would change his life forever. And it's like, what kid in 1995 would watch this movie and be like, I gotta get the toy of it? It'd be like, hey kids, you want some Event Horizon toys? You want some Enemy Mine toys?
Awesome.
You want some
Wing
Commander
Future
toys?
War toys? You want some
Exactly.
Future War toys?
Oh,
no.
God, Future War. Oh, well, Lightyear wasn't as bad as Future War. Nothing could be as bad as Future War, but it's But like kids in the 90s and like that time period, they would not have liked Lightyear, the movie. I'm
Also,
sorry. I highly doubt it.
Also math.
So go ahead. Yeah.
I actually disagree with the idea that this could have been a serious show and worked. I think that what makes it work is that it is so much a parody of Flash Gordon and all of these shows from that
Sci-fi,
era.
yeah.
Because Buzz does take this show seriously, he is in that Flash Gordon mentality, but the rest of the universe around him is reacting as if he's crazy. That's what makes this work.
Yeah, honestly.
He is taking everything a little too seriously. He's just that delusional.
Yes.
And basically, what it is too is they actually bring that up in the show itself too. That Buzz takes his job way too seriously and needs to chill out in that. But like I say, Buzz Lightyear Star Command is one of those shows that I think with age it really has gotten a lot better because it is so much fun. And again, nothing against Lightyear if you liked it and that, but I really have to think that kids would really prefer this over the Lightyear movie. I really have to that. This has all the fun aliens. It has all the cool designs and stuff. But
it's got freaking Booster and Ma Munchapper. What more could you possibly need? It might as well be the most definitive Pixar sci-fi freaking universe outside of WALL-E and possibly Elio. But we'll see about that later. Now then, for the question of the week, which is, what is your favorite sci-fi franchise? Lud?
Yep. I will go first. Now this one is a difficult one because I have several actual franchises that I could say that I really, really enjoy. I could say that I like Star Trek, but to tell you the truth, I think I only like everything of Star Trek up until like Voyager. After that, it gets kind of out there for me. I feel like Deep Space Nine would have been a good place to stop, but of course they couldn't stop. They kept going with Voyager and Enterprise and the Kelvin timeline movies and of course all the other stuff now. But
I will say this: Lower Decks is absolutely worth the watch.
Lower Decks
Also,
is fun. I give
Prodigy.
it.
Prodigy.
Lower Decks is fun. What I've seen, that is a fun show. But
Yeah.
for my answer, I think my favorite sci-fi franchise, and it's gonna be with a little caveat on it. It's gonna be with like a pin. It's gonna be Star Wars. But I will say this: Star Wars, everything pre-Disney buyout. I really feel like that was the line of no return when Disney bought the franchise, and it kind of just fell into a tailspin. Now, granted, we got Andor, we got some other good stuff. We got Mandalorian.
We got Bad Batch. We got the Clone Wars season 8. It was awesome.
Yeah, we did get some good things out of it, but as a
Jenny-
whole, yeah. As I go,
Continue.
yeah, but
No,
what I feel
continue.
is everything like post Disney buyout has been really just a downward trajectory, and it really is a shame because there was a lot of people that were so hopeful for it, and then to see it happen, it just kind of just cratered, I guess. But I will say that the original trilogy is fantastic, a lot of fun. The prequel trilogy I actually like. I give it credit. I was a prequel liker way before the rest of the internet. I'm not trying to be a hipster or anything, but no, I always like the prequels. The prequels never bothered me. And I will say this: you have, of course, as Shark mentioned, you have Gennady Tarkovsky's Clone Wars animated series, which are mind-blowingly awesome. If you've never seen it, see it because it is something that you will never forget. It is something that is so cool. And you have the regular CGI Clone Wars series, which is also pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only downside with the Tartakovsky one is the fact that it is no longer canon and that the Clone Wars CGI show kind of replaced that, which I'm totally not bitter about it, but they're both pretty good, so I'll give it a pass.
Unfortunate
give it an A+
that
even.
happens, but I think what happened with the post Disney buyout stuff, I'm not going to go into too of a rant here because that'll be for another time, but I feel like what happened was Disney was basically riding it by the seat of their pants. Because they got J.J. Abrams in the first one. They got Rian Johnson with the second one with Last Jedi, which, I feel like The Last Jedi got a lot of hate, and now rewatching it, it's not as bad as some people say, but the last one, Rise of Skywalker, that just killed the franchise. That's like, that is Jaws 4 level of, like, killing your franchise level bad, I feel. Because, they're not doing Star Wars films anymore. And if you were to go back like 20 years and tell somebody that there's going to be a Star Wars movie so bad that it's going to just kill the movie franchise forever for like the foreseeable future, they would think you were absolutely insane. But here we are, But yeah, aside from that, Star Wars is definitely I think it's my favorite, probably because the world building is a lot of fun. I really like basically all the designs and stuff, and Star Trek is great too. And trying to think of anything else I can think of at the top of my head. Not right now. Stuff like Bradbury's works are really good too. Hard sci-fi.
Mhm.
My favorite movie of all time is actually sci-fi, but it's not really a franchise. It's 2001. I didn't really like 2010, the movie. I just feel like, why do a sequel? It's like doing a sequel to like the Mona Lisa or the Starry Night. It's like you had it perfect the first time. That's it. You're done. But yeah, that's gonna be my pick for my favorite actual franchise. It's gonna be Star Wars itself. So, Angron, what would you have to say?
This one's gonna be a little bit of a loosey-goosey technicality, much like a certain other person when we get to them. But
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, it's gonna have to be Transformers. Like, there's Metroid, there's Star Fox, there's Star Wars, like you said, and there's also Alien and Robotech. But I'm sorry, it's absolutely gonna have to be Transformers. Like, it's not okay, who am I kidding? It's absolutely sci-fi with more action in it than
It is.
actual sci-fi, but it is absolutely gonna be my pick because it's what I grew up with. It's got giant frickin' alien robots transforming into frickin' vehicles. It's basically my childhood, and yeah, overall, I absolutely have stuck with it, even after all the stuff that Hasbro has done to try and make me say, ugh. But hey, it's still there, and it absolutely works to this day. So that's gonna be my pick.
That's a great pick right there. Transformers is it definitely counts as sci-fi. It really, really does. So let's see. Who'd be next? Math, what would you have to say?
Normally, I would say some sort of animated property, but I would be lying to myself if I said anything but Star Trek.
Nice.
And I'm not beating the old man allegations because I remember watching a bunch of these when they were released.
Oh
boy.
I am old enough to remember watching Next Gen, DS9, and Voyager in real time.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, basically anything from Voyager and before, I love those series. Original series, really not beating the old man allegations. Next Gen, DS9, Voyager, like I said. I even like, I'm going to be that one weird guy. I even like the original series, animated series. Oh, hey, I brought it back to animation.
That's right. Oh, fun fact about that, actually. They did a crossover with Transformers, so even better.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, there's this really it's hard to describe just how well it worked. This charm to all of those series that they've had trouble replicating since, and I think it's sort of like the way that TV production has evolved over the era has made it so that shows like Star Trek don't really work anymore, unfortunately.
Thankfully,
I'm hoping that we can go back to productions like that, and they can relearn that so that we can get more of a classic Star Trek series than this. Ultimately, grim dark is the way that I would describe what they're doing with Star Trek these days, and that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Thankfully, with shows like Prodigy, and Lower Decks, we don't have to worry about that grim dark future, and also Strange New Worlds as well. But yeah, I kind of understand. I was never really the biggest Star Trek fan to begin with, even with the premise of like exploring strange new worlds with the galactic people and races that we've ultimately met and have bonded with and have ultimately learned to accept their customs and whatnot. That's ultimately the charm I get from it. But yeah, I've only ever really experienced the original series and Lower Decks, and again Prodigy. Fuck. But yeah, I am not too terribly worried about Star Trek going down that dark path. That unlike freaking Keanu Reeves going down Constantine.
Nice.
I will say that that Picard felt a little too edgy in my opinion.
Oh.
Yeah, that was
Star
the
Trek Picard. It's just, why the fuck did you try to make this disturbing?
Oh god.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Thank goodness
So-
for Lower Decks.
Yep.
Thank God.
goodness,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. They almost brought it back to its roots. It feels
Yeah.
like with these newer Star Trek series, they forgot Gene Roddenberry's vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I definitely can see that. So that leads to Strkyer. What would your favorite science fiction franchise be?
I have quite a few, actually.
Oh boy.
Because growing up, I really liked science fiction. One major one being, one series that my mom actually introduced me to.
Oh.
Star Trek.
Oh.
And of course,
Nice.
Star Wars.
Ooh, awesome.
Yep.
Nice.
But then, of course, she also introduced me to Alien.
Nice.
Whoa,
Nice.
yes.
Oh, that's a nice one.
That's a good one.
Oh
As
man.
fun fact, she saw this. She saw this movie when she was 9 years old.
Damn,
Really? Wow,
bro.
nice.
Yeah, back in 1979 when the movie first premiered.
That is impressive. Oh man.
Yeah, it scared the hell out of her. Let's just say
Oh
that.
man. I think my
Yeah.
parents were like 2 and still in the womb respectively, more or less. That's crazy.
I gotcha. But let's see. My favorite science fiction series. I've been on a bit of a fantasy kick recently, but I think my favorite would have to be. Wow, this is actually really hard thinking
Oh.
of my favorite.
Take
Not
your
gonna
time,
lie.
take your time.
I
Take
mean-
your time.
I can also mention Mobile Suit Gundam and Transformers.
Oh,
Those
Transformers.
Those definitely fit.
Literally, Transformers being one of my first anime, one of the first anime I've ever watched.
Yeah, made by
Nice.
Toy Animations of all people, so
Oh yeah,
even
it
better.
was. Let's see here.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, this is so hard because I grew up watching so much science fiction.
Well, I mean, we already picked Star Trek, Star Wars, and Transformers, so whichever.
I guess I'll just say Alien because since the recent movie went into theaters recently,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and I really want to play. I plan on because I really want to see it.
Oh yeah, there's also this little anime fan animation that somebody made on YouTube that I absolutely recommend you check out as well.
Absolutely, I'll take a look at it. Not only that, but there was also video games that were published by Sega.
Oh yes, Alien
All of them.
Isolation.
All of them,
Wow.
and of course, Colonial Marines.
Yeah,
Ooh,
one little bit of code could have absolutely fixed the game in spite of its plot, but yeah, they really dropped the ball on that. I still think it looks good though.
There was also a couple of games on Sega Saturn, as well as Genesis.
SNES and SNES, I believe.
No, actually, all these games were published by Sega, so it was Sega
Darn.
exclusive.
Huh.
And also there were IDW comics,
Nice.
Awesome.
Wow.
which are also really well known. They are
Nice.
they are even scarier than the movies. Let's just say that.
Oh damn. Yeesh. That is interesting. Now I really want to see that. Yeah, I really want to see them go toe to toe with freaking Metroids at some point.
That would be
Oh.
awesome.
Because, fun fact, Ridley was actually named after Ridley Scott, the director of Alien.
I know, and Samus
Awesome.
Aran was named after Ellen Ripley, technically.
Oh, true, yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, that's my pick. Alien.
Hell yeah.
Great pick right there. So, Shark, what do you have to say is your favorite sci-fi franchise?
Well, something I can say is that nostalgia has no factor here because I was never really a sci-fi kid. Like, I never watched the Star Wars as a kid, never played any of those games as a kid. I mostly stick with Mario and Zelda, that were more fantasy. Cartoons, neither. It was SpongeBob. So, yeah, it took a long while for me to get into something science fiction, like really, really hard, and it's quite recent actually.
Yeah.
I was thinking if Pikmin count, it kind of counts, but I'm gonna because they do have ships and there's some technology stuff, but I don't know. I kind of feel it that's stretching it a bit. So
Maybe.
there was another, like I said, it was very not recently, but it was in 2019 when I basically got into my what I will say first science fiction game. And that's because Nintendo released the Super Nintendo system on the Switch, and among the games, there was a game I was curious about, but never like said it's like curious enough to buy it. But hey, it was here. Let's see how it plays. Let's see if I like it. And well, let's just say that I did, and I really got into the
Oh my goodness.
Metroid.
Nice,
It's
nice.
absolutely
Awesome,
Metroid.
absolutely awesome.
Nice. That was gonna be my second guess.
Yeah, I played the game in the Switch Online. I was like, wow, I miss a lot. I was really missing because all these smokes, the gameplay is fire, the characters are the character because Samus is usually alone on her missions, but like the whole structure of getting lost is fun. Like, how can you get lost in a game and have fun? Well, Metroid is how you do it. And yeah, I went in hard because finishing that game, I bought the trilogy on the Wii U. I got copies of Zero Mission and Fusion for the Game Boy Advance, and yep, eventually, and I got lucky because the next year they got the Metroid Dread finally. So it's like, wow, what a perfect time to get into this franchise.
I still
Right.
need to beat Metroid Dread. Good lordy.
I haven't even beaten Prime yet, actually.
I beat Prime. It was fun. Play it.
Yeah, I beat the Prime trilogy. So far I basically play and beat all the main games except 2 because the Game Boy Color version that's on Switch, it's kinda unplayable.
Metroid 2, yeah. The original Metroid 2 is not the greatest.
No.
Thankfully, there's the 3DS remake.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to get it now. I should check how to get it, but yeah, similar with the first game, you are better playing the Zero Mission actually remake. So
Yeah, it's a little more specific than Metroid, but it is a much better experience. I will say that much.
Yep.
Shark can vouch
yeah,
for
and
me. And so can
the
Lud.
bosses are great. The Ridley and Kraid are like great villains, and Samus has certainly become one of my favorite video game heroes of all time.
Yes, absolutely.
I know she sure was mine when I was a teenager.
There's also Metroid
yeah.
Other M, but most people don't talk about that for a reason. But it's still a very fun game, I'll admit.
I did a skip on that one, so I don't think I'm missing much.
You can see why.
But
Yeah.
favorite sci-fi franchise is Metroid. Unless you let me stretch the rules a lot, and it will be Pikmin. But let's stick with Metroid for now.
Yeah, good call.
That's definitely a good pick right there. So let's see who's next. Jordan, what would you say is your favorite science fiction franchise?
I did grow up watching a lot of Transformers over the time and Power Rangers, and back to watching an old movie I've never watched in my life was RoboCop. A good old
shit,
Good one.
Not about that nasty reboot master. No.
You don't make an R-coded movie at PG-13.
You don't.
Yeah.
Man, we ain't getting no crappy RoboCop reboot up in this house, boy.
Good, because I don't like that new one. I'm like, what am I watching?
I mean, the design doesn't look too bad, but otherwise, it's yeah, nothing to write home about. I'll
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
never saw it.
RoboCop it would be my kind of second favorite sci-fi franchise because it's something new and it's kind of close to home in my area of Detroit a little bit. So RoboCop is there because again, it's sci-fi-ish. I mean, he's a half robot cyborg dude, and no one talks about him anymore back in the old days. Not to this day age anymore. It's gonna be RoboCop.
I bet you're
for
happy
me.
when I bet you were happy when they made that recent game.
I
Yeah.
heard about it, and I'm like, I've never played any RoboCop games. I kind
Probably,
of
yeah.
want to play this game because it has all the classic stuff from the first two movies of RoboCop, and I'm like, oh god, I want to play
Nice.
this game. I never did. I never played this game, and I want to play it.
There was one back on the PS2. Don't play it.
Ooh.
I'm not.
It's just a bunch of dangling, jingling keys in your face.
Oof.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Ouch.
no.
But yeah, that of course, the recent RoboCop game, as well as RoboCop in Mortal Kombat 11.
That's right. That's right.
DLC fighter, sure, but they actually got the actor, so
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
That is really, really awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
unlike the Terminator, where it was just Arnold Schwarzenegger's likeness.
Yeah.
I mean,
But they
Schwarzenegger
did get
at least
Stallone
was the
back
voice
for
actor.
Rambo.
Nice.
Oh yeah, Rambo. Yeah, they got both Stallone's likeness and his voice.
Yeah, that's cool. Glad to hear
yeah.
that.
Yep. That's
Anyway, yeah. Sorry for rambling. Just
So it's okay. It's all good. It's something we're passionate about, so that works out. So
yeah.
let's see. Who's next? Let's see. Lucky Evie, what would you say your favorite sci-fi franchise is?
Probably Pokemon because it does have time travel and space travel.
Yeah.
I was
That's
about
fair.
to say it's time for our Pokemon quota.
Yep.
Yep.
Metroid
Yeah.
is a close
Nice.
second, but I've never played a Metroid game. I just like watching them.
Hey, fun fact: I actually have a physical copy of Super Metroid on Super Nintendo.
Nice.
Awesome. Yep.
I bet it's the same price as it was back when the game first released.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Sure. That's definitely a good one. And let's see. Our special guest, Python. What is your favorite sci-fi franchise?
So, could we so one official one and one I'm not too sure of. Does Pokemon count as sci-fi?
It
Lucky
definitely
Evie.
does.
Yeah,
does,
we
it
just
does.
did.
Yep.
Well,
I get the quota in, so
I love the movies and I love the show, but I've never played any of the games.
Play them.
So I know just like the average knowledge for stuff concerning Pokemon, but the official sci-fi franchise I love the most is Aliens, because I recently saw the new movie and
Nice.
it deepens
I
the
heard it was
lore
that.
so much. I'm not going to say anything about it,
Nice.
but like, it connects so many things from the previous movies that it just makes your mind explode out in realization.
Yeah.
But
That sounds really, really good. But yeah, no, I can definitely see why you would do that because, that is a great one right there. And I heard the new one actually isn't that bad.
Surprisingly, yeah.
It's actually on par with the first two Alien movies, I would
Yep.
say.
Oh, nice. Glad to hear that. So now it is time for the patent pending Dragoness Scale, where we rank the character from 1 to 10. But this is an interesting one because Ma Munchapper is not. She's a dinosaur, but she technically isn't, in that she doesn't look like it. So, and by look, she's pretty much just like a female version of Booster. But on the other hand, the personality is so good for a character that has maybe a minute and a half total screen time. Her
She's
personality
reptilian, she
is
counts.
so fantastic. I'm going to give her a high score. I'm giving her an 8 out of 10. And this
Nice.
shows how good the writing on this show was, that a one-off, well, not a one-off character because she does appear again in the series, but but she is so good in this one appearance alone, both like, it really shows how well this show is done in general, because every one of these characters, including a bit one like this, feels so fleshed out, and the voice helps too. I mean, that is a really good one right there. And just her personality, and the fact that they didn't go too like extreme with them. Like, they could have made them, oh, ha ha, they're backwards, hillbillies, they point and laugh. But no, they didn't do that, and I'm glad they didn't. They actually made them into really passionate, likable characters, and she definitely is one of them. And like I say, she's really just a female version of Booster, but it works for what they were trying to do with it. It works, so
Yeah.
she gets an 8 out of 10 for that reason.
Yeah, that's neat. I'm gonna go a little higher and give her a 9 out of 10. Yeah, her and
Whoa.
the entire booster race are absolutely reptilian, so they're absolutely gonna count, even with the whole dinosaur thing in the past being a little bit of a loophole. That being said, however, yeah, great character, great design, even though it's just basically Booster but mom and a little shorter. That is kind of what holds her back a tiny bit, but yeah, I would. But other than that, she absolutely sits comfortable at a 9 out of 10 for me. She absolutely offers a lot, and come later, she'll definitely be keeping that score from here on out.
Nice. That definitely works out well. So yeah, 9 out of 10. I was not expecting that, but definitely works. So let's see if we can keep the high score train going with math.
I'm going with an 8 as well.
Ooh, nice.
I love the archetype of the sweet, wholesome mom, and Ma Munchapper is the very essence of that archetype. You don't see much of her, but you get the pure distillation of her character in every scene that she's in, and it works incredibly well. This series is so cheesy and so over the top that they make characters like this work from as little screen time as they get because of that. It's a strength, not a weakness. It's only an 8 because I am once again asking that these characters get more fucking screen time.
I
Yeah,
know.
I understand. We hear you. But, still a really good high score. So let's see. Strkyer, what would you give her?
I just gotta do it. She gets a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah,
Whoa,
that is
nice.
holy hell.
That is,
Because-
wow.
Because
I was not expecting it to be that good. Wow.
because A, she reminds me of my mom,
Aw.
Aw, that's nice.
and
So
also I can't help it, MILF.
Nice.
I'm weak to characters like her, so yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she may
I
not
can
be
definitely
Zubea,
see
but
why.
I do not care.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep, that's wow. So let's see. Shark, what would you give her?
Well, I'm not gonna give her as high as you guys, but still gonna be high. I'm gonna give her a 7 out of 10.
Okay,
And
Nice,
fair.
it's interesting design, and like Lud pointed out, it's a nice observation of the farmers being just hillbillies. She's kind. So a few things that lower the score for me is, well, the dinosaur aspect of her isn't actually seen in this episode. It's another episode, and she isn't even in that one. And
Yep.
of all the 4 booster like aliens, she's actually the one that does less of all of them, honestly.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
I mean,
Kind
shame.
of. So yeah, it does. I do wish she did more, but for what we got, it was fine. So I'm going with a 7 for her.
That's a really, really good score right there. I definitely can see why. So let's see who's next. Jordan, what would you give the character?
10 out of 10. I mean, it's
Whoa.
Booster's family and race, so they're all gonna be somewhere. I mean, their personality's gonna be different, but nice family of race that looked almost similar to the dinosaur race a bit. And we see also in the future in episodes that we see Booster kind of go revert to his ancestral ways in the series before. So I go for 10 out of 10. I mean, Booster's literally like a giant marshmallow you just want to kind of hug.
Oh yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He is good boy.
I want to hug the guy.
That is awesome. That is really, really a great choice right there. Wow. I wasn't expecting 1 out of 10. I really wasn't expecting 2 10 out of 10s. So, let's see. Lucky Evie, what would you give?
I don't know what to say. It's like you fucked up drawing Galmon.
A little extreme, but okay.
Wow.
So what would you give her?
4.
4?
Oof.
Okay. And Python, our special guest, he gave them a 5 out of 10 as well. So kind of a little low score at the end, but still all good. So that's going to be it for this week's episode. If you have any questions, or if you want to send us all the things you would do with the transdipulator, you can email us at Fiery Discourse. Yep. You can email us at fierydiscourse@outlook.com. Visit us on Twitter at twitter.com/fierydiscourse. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the videos, and check out the playlist. Next time, we'll be discussing the 1994 animated movie, The Magic Flute, starring none other than Mark Hamill.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's going to be a very interesting one. Adaptation of the Mozart opera in a way that is very different from that. And will we mention other things in this episode? We will have to wait and see. But that's going to be it for this week. So until then, thank you guys so much for listening. And until then, take care.
Later.
Bye bye.
Adios.
Out.
See y'all next week.